Good morning, students. I thank you for your cooperation to proceed our classes. With your kind cooperation, we have been discussing the chapter. And during our previous chapter, previous topic, we discussed the story, his first flight. That was the first part of this chapter. That is the two stories of flying. And I told you on that day that the next period I'll come with the second topic of the chapter, that is the black aeroplane. In our previous class, we got to know about a seagull and how the seagull was afraid to fly, and with his mother's effort and the family support, finally he jumped and was successful in flying, and he learned it. That gave a strong message to us too, like we should always proceed towards success. We should never stop doing something because of the fear that we have. All we have to fear is fear itself, because the day we come out of that fear, we can achieve our success. So today we have the second portion, that is the on the screen you can see class 10, the black aeroplane, May 19, 2020, Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. So we are here with the second topic of the chapter, the two stories of flying, that is the black aeroplane, right? Let's go to the instructions before proceeding towards the class. As I always give you the instructions, this is the first page for you in front of your eyes. That number one, please watch the introductory come explanation video. Please use earphone if you watch the video using your mobile. If you do not get the sound, I kindly request you to use your headphone, right, or earphone, so that you can clearly understand the topic or can hear the sound that I have been telling you. And today's task is very simple. You have to watch the video. I'll try to explain the chapter. And secondly, you have to read the chapter once. It's a very short story. And the third, you have to write a few questions that will be uploaded after the video, right? So that is what an alignment that always I give you. No, you follow the alignment. Neatness is expected. So these things are very important for our writing, right? So let's go to the story now. Before going to the story, we'll go to the author now first. About the author, let's go to the author now. Frederick McCarthy Forsyth, who was born on 25 August 1938. He is an English author, journalist, former spy, and occasional political commentator. He is best known for his thrillers. He wrote thrillers. A few names are there on the screen. You can just have a read. The Day of the Jackal, The Odessa File, The Fourth Protocol, The Dogs of War, The Devil's Alternatives, The Fist of God, Icon, The Veteran, Avenger, The Afghan, The Cobra, and The Kill List. Forsyth's works frequently appear on bestsellers lists, and more than a dozen of his titles have been adapted to film. He wrote a lot of stories, books, and many of his books are taken for films. By 2006, he had sold more than 70 million books in more than 30 languages. His novels are so well known and so loved by the people, and 70 million books were sold by 2006. Now by 2020, we don't know how many million that he achieved. Let's go to his story now. Let's go to the introduction first. This is the introduction. This is what the first part of the story. This few lines will tell you what happens in the story. In this chapter, the narrator is a pilot who is so eager to meet his family and have a good breakfast that he takes the wrong decision of facing the storm instead of doing the right thing. Miraculously, he somehow manages to escape with the help of a mysterious aeroplane. Actually, this chapter talks about how the pilot wanted to go to his homeland, that is London, and he was heading in the sky because he was a pilot, and he faced a very difficult storm. There was a dark cloud where he lost himself, his plane. It was a kind of you cannot say that the decision was correct, but he did not stop over there. He had enough opportunity to go back to Paris, because he saw that difficulty in front of his eyes, but he did not stop over there, right? And he was determined, and he wanted to reach his homeland by the morning. So he already decided that he will take a good breakfast along with his family members. And though it was the decision was wrong, but even then he did not lose his hope, and finally he reached London in the morning. So that is what about the story. So let's go to the summary now. In detail you'll understand. This is the summary part. This is the first part, you can see on the screen. The story Black Aeroplane is about a pilot who feels happy and contented to fly over a city that is sleeping at the night time. He is flying from Paris to London. While taking his flight, he dreams about the long holiday with his family. He also fantasizes about the scrumptious breakfast he would have upon landing. Now see, this pilot had to go to England, and he was heading towards England. He was in the sky of Paris. And as soon as he crossed Paris, suddenly what happened? He saw in front of his eyes there was a huge storm and a type of black cloud. And he had enough opportunity to come back, but he did not come back. He proceeded, and he he faced a very difficult situation over there, and somehow he managed to reach England, right? Let's go to the next slide. As soon as he crosses Paris, he gets a look of a dark clouds that were a sign of upcoming storm. The right decision would have been to turn back to Paris for the sake of safety. As I told you, he easily could have come back to Paris, but he did not come back. Maybe it was a very wrong decision taken by the pilot. But he, being overshadowed by his dreams and not wanting to delay them, risks the life of his passengers and heads straight into the storm. Everything gets dark. He is unable to see. All his directions instruments stopped functioning, and he lost control of the plane. Now see, he could have easily come back to Paris, but he did not stop over there. He thought of going. He already decided to reach London in the morning. So he proceeded, though he saw there was a dark cloud. And what had happened, he already, like, fuel was also about to end, and he could not, like, all the instruments of his aeroplane did not work, and he did not know that where to go. Let's go and let's see what happens after that. When all hope was lost, he saw another plane whose pilot was more than willing to rescue them. Now see, as soon as he saw that cloud, he got inside the cloud. Now he could not even come back to Paris. Now he lost himself. All the machine did not work. And by then he was so lucky enough, he saw another pilot over there. And he found that the pilot was heading towards London, and he thought of following that airplane. The author was panicking as there was very less amount of fuel left. The anonymous pilot guided them out of the storm and disappeared as soon as they saw light upon landing. Now what happened? As soon as he was following that aeroplane, he had to go to London. He did not have any choice rather than following the aeroplane. And as soon as he came out of that storm and that dark cloud, he found the aeroplane was not there. Now what happened? Upon landing, when he asked the lady in the control room, he landed his plane, and he asked the lady over there. He asked the lady. When he asked the lady about the aeroplane, where was the aeroplane, because the aeroplane was coming here, and I followed the aeroplane, and because of that I reached here. But he was very much shocked over there, because the lady in the control room said there was no any aeroplane in the sky. That was only his aeroplane that was coming towards London. Now he was very much shocked, because he did not know whose aeroplane was that, and whose aeroplane helped him to land his plane safely. Still, the story ends in a very unending process, and we do not know exactly who was that whose aeroplane helped him to land safely in his motherland. So this is all about the chapter. And nobody knows whose aeroplane was there, but actually there was no any aeroplane, right? So that was really the story. And somehow this pilot this pilot managed to land his plane safely in London. So that is all about the chapter. Hope you understood the chapter, but along with this video I request you to read the chapter once so that you understand the chapter in a better way. After reading, please go through the answers of the questions that will be uploaded. I'll show you in the video too, and along with this video I'll show you the questions. I'll send the questions separately through my WhatsApp, through the WhatsApp group, so that you can easily get the questions and write these answers. But again, I kindly request you, please, while writing the answers, read the chapter thoroughly and write these answers. This is what about the question section will follow now. Read the extract carefully and answer the following questions. Let's go for the questions now. This is the slide here. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds, storm clouds. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. 1. Knew I could not fly up and over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north of or south. CBSE 2016, like the question was asked in CBSE board examination 2016, right? So this is the question: what happened when the pilot was about 150 kilometers away from Paris? You already know the story, and hope that you'll read the chapter once and write these answers. And we have another slide here. So this is another slide. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. And as you know, the name of the plane was Dakota, right? So this is what about these today, and hope that you'll be able to write these answers by Wednesday evening and submit me back. And I kindly request you, before writing these answers, please read the chapter once. And I hope that you can read the chapter. After the video, you can easily get the time to read the chapter. Within 45 minutes you will be able to write all these answers, but you can submit the answers by tomorrow evening, right? And I thank you again for your cooperation and hope that we can complete our syllabus in time. And thank you. Have a great day ahead.